There comes a time in everyone's life where we must face the truth. But what is the truth? Did existence really begin with the Big Bang? Is what we've been taught in our history books some sort of fictional reality? It's hard to find the truth in a world full of lies. However, we do have the strength within us to find the truth, to unveil it, and present it to the world for what it really is. It's your world, your reality, your truth. Welcome to Unveiling the Truth. I'm your host, Mark Howitt. That was a new intro I whipped up there for this show, which I'll start playing for the future episodes. And today's date is March the 8th, moving along in 2014 here. And we got a good show planned for you guys today on the Truth Broadcast Network with one of the hosts for a show on the network, the Average Liberator. His name is Koerri Washington. And he's really a passionate activist. He wants to make a better world, and he's got a good site posting good news articles and stuff. So I'm really stoked to be interviewing him on the show. And I wanted to show you guys his website before we get any further, just so you guys know where to check out his information and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just gonna get it on screen here. There we go. Right on. And you could check out his website at theaverageliberator.com. And here's the site right here. And he's always posting awesome news articles on here, good videos, and he does good broadcasts as well. He interviews people, has guests on the show as well. And his show is actually broadcast live Monday to Friday, 11 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Pacific time. So anybody wants to check out his work can do so there. And there was a couple awesome articles he posted that I was reading, like right here, Tylenol now linked to ADHD. Very interesting video. I'll get that on the screen for you guys so you guys could check it out, actually, because that's pretty interesting. And I posted an article on the World Public Union website about the ADHD, and anybody familiar with the book Psychotropic Drugs in the Year 2000 and the agenda behind that book can definitely agree with me that they've tried to design drugs, pharmaceutical drugs, and all these chemicals essentially that can alter the human behavior, that can alter your personality permanently or short term. But a lot of these are harmful to ingest. They're not good for you. They're not good for the brain. It's actually counterproductive for the most part. But the book, Psychotropic Drugs in the Year 2000, was written by doctors and other members of the industry, I guess you could say, and that was to profit, essentially, to design drugs to alter behavior so that they could charge money and make money off that. And there's all sorts of information behind that. There's a couple really good documentaries on it as well. I think one is I can't remember the names offhand, but check them out if you can. Just Google psychotropic drugs, and you'll find a couple good documentaries. So definitely check that out. But the thing is with ADHD, that's like one of these fictitious make-believe disorders that they come up with, saying that, you know, we need drugs to treat this because somebody's hyper, when it really in most cases it's the diet. That's what's changing the behavior. It's not and it's what you're putting in your body essentially, and then they want to cover it up and give you more drugs to make you more sick so that they make more profit. Now here's a good video that was posted on the Average Liberator. I'll show you guys this.
It's not new news that pregnant women shouldn't take medications, but it's often tempting to maybe just take a little Tylenol. I mean, after all, it's advertised as being safe for children.
Sure, and it's something that the doctors use in the hospital according to the ads more than any other drug. So if it's good for hospitalized patients, must be good for pregnant women, right?
Well, Tylenol or acetaminophen can have many dangerous side effects, and we have much information on this on drsaputo.com. And now a new study shows that pregnant women who take it increase their risk for having a baby that'll develop ADHD.
Yeah, well, we learn the hard way in medicine, and we have a paradigm that is a very dangerous model, because what we do is we use drugs to try and solve problems, and we never know all the side effects of the drugs because we don't understand cell biochemistry enough.
It's kind of the way that we've been trained to think
It's
of
just
a
what you
pill
do.
for everything that feels wrong, or, you know.
Exactly.
So like if a pregnant woman has a fever or a headache or a toothache or a backache
Sure.
or a sore throat or
Sure.
whatever, she's often thinks, well, I'll just take a little Tylenol.
Right.
But what people often don't realize is that there are alternative things that people can take besides a drug that are very helpful that don't have the side effects.
Oh, there are a
like,
lot of approaches that we can use. I mean, the things like acupuncture and homeopathy and things like chiropractic and body work, therapeutic touch. I mean, there's a lot of ways to work through helping people have pain. But what we should be doing is looking for the cause. Why do people have this pain? Now, I know that pregnant women are carrying a big load and they tend to get a backache. But maybe what they should do is get off their feet or do something to help the alignment with their back using some chiropractic adjustments. Using a drug is not the first choice of a wise clinician or a wise person, because almost always these drugs have side effects, and we find out about them, like with Tylenol, 50 years later.
okay, so there are other side effects than the ADHD, but before we talk about what maybe some of these other side effects are, how common is this for pregnant women to take Tylenol?
Oh, well, the risk goes up substantially. Actually, the risk is somewhere in the range of 5.5% for developing a kid who has ADD as it is, but it goes all the way up to about 7% if they're on Tylenol, which is about a 35% increase in the risk of developing ADD.
And with 54% of pregnant moms taking it, that's
Right.
a lot of children.
Well, you're looking at tens of thousands of kids, okay, that will develop this every year. So it's not like it seems like a small amount because the percentage is small, but when millions of women are pregnant, you're going to be seeing changes that are a big deal. And we already have too many kids being treated for what we call ADD or ADHD.
So let's talk about what some of the other side effects are besides the ADHD.
Right, we're looking at liver problems. If you take too much of it, you actually can wind up with a liver that needs a transplant, or it may kill you. And it only takes about 15 or 16 grams in a single dose one time to cause that to happen. And if anybody's thinking about suicide, pick something else, because that's a long, miserable death. And then there are things like losing your hearing, which happens not infrequently.
What?
That's right, no more Tylenol for you. And bleeds of different kinds that can be an issue. The Stevens-Johnson syndrome, which
Where your skin falls off?
yeah, a lot of blood changes that are not so good with your red count, white count, platelet count, and people get hives. There are a lot of side effects, and that's probably the tip of the iceberg, because who studies the side effects of medications? It certainly isn't the pharmaceutical industry.
And you know, too, many times pain can be caused by stress.
Oh, for sure.
So it's like pay attention to your physical symptoms and maybe take a rest or lie down for a while and put your feet up if you can.
Right. Well, we should be thinking about lifestyle as our most important medicine, because if we do that, the chances of developing something where we have pain or we get sick is lowered immensely. So things like diet, exercise, stress reduction, sleep, weighing what you should, and having a purpose in your life that brings you joy are the things that keep you well, and there's nothing as powerful as that. So those are the things we should be looking at. So when we're thinking of what do we do when we have pain, the first reflex should not be, what pill can I take? I mean, even Darvon was on the market for about 50 years, and a couple of years ago was taken off the market because they found out it killed people too often from cardiac rhythm disturbances.
And Tylenol's been over the counter since 1950.
Right. So the first choice should be lifestyle. Then if it doesn't work, non-invasive therapies like chiropractic and acupuncture, etc. If that doesn't work, then think about a Tylenol.
Good video. He explained it very well, how you don't need pharmaceutical drugs, or you don't need to take drugs. Often the cure is found within yourself, changing your lifestyles, changing your habits. I fully agree with that. Myself, I don't take medications ever because of that. I just don't trust it. I don't think that it helps, and I think it actually adds to the problem, definitely. I mean, I've even noticed the difference from not taking it to taking it. I used to take cough medicine when I would get a cold, and since then, since I've stopped taking it anyways, I don't get sick anymore, very rarely. I mean, I was sick, I guess a couple weeks back for a couple days there. I was congested. I had a cough and a cold, I guess, a head cold, and sinuses and stuff like that. I'm sure a lot of people get that. But the last time I was sick before that was 2 years. And I went out on the March of Freedom, and I was out in the bush, like walking at night with damp air, sleeping in tents outside, on the side of the highway, and all sorts of stuff. And I never got sick. I think when you don't take that stuff, it builds up your immune system. And when you're taking these drugs, it's actually weakening your immune system. And then you add that on the non-nutritious food that they give you in the superstores, in the grocery stores. You don't have a choice if you're going to be eating good food or bad food, because all the selection is bad food. And then you have fluoridated water supplies, fluoridated bottled water. You have the plastic chemicals leaching into the bottled water. I mean, we're living in a world that's designed to make you sick so that you don't live as long. And these doctors and these pharmaceutical companies and even the food industries and stuff can make more money off you. It's all about profit. It's all about money, bottom line, all the time. That's just the way it is. So that was a good video that was posted on the Average Liberator, and I find Koerri's really good for finding good videos that make a lot of sense and posting them, and it's really awesome. So I am glad to have him on the show. And actually, there's another really good video I wanted to show you guys on here. Where is it? Here it is. I'm going to get this on the screen for you guys so you guys can see this one. And then we'll bring Koerri on board here for the show. But this is a really good interview I saw with Steven Seagal. And I love Steven Seagal. He's really fighting for better things, I think, in my opinion. And I think his career will be affected by him speaking out like this. But I commend the man for doing so.
Well, believe it or not, I had no idea that I was going to be speaking tonight, so I really am not going to fit into the characteristic funny. Everybody's funny tonight. What I have to say is quite serious, and what I really want to say is never in my life did I ever believe that our country would be taken over by people like the people who are running it at this day. And I think that when we have a leadership that thinks that the Constitution of the United States of America is a joke, when we have a president who has almost 1,000 executive orders now, when we have a Department of Justice that thinks that any kind of a judicial system that they make up as they're going along can get by with whatever they decide that they want to do. Like Ted Nugent said, the Fast and the Furious. What's happened with the Fast and the Furious? What's happened with the truth about any of some of the greatest scandals in American history that have happened right before our eyes? if the truth about Benghazi were to come out now, I don't think that this man would make it through his term. I think he would be impeached. Yeah, America's a great country. It really is a great country because it's a country where we have designed a system based on the Constitution where we have freedom of speech. We're allowed to disagree and say what we want to say and should not be persecuted for it. But on the same token, those who have something to say that is too controversial really have to be very, very careful. I think right now we're at that sort of tipping point where whether you are a Democrat or a Republican, we have to realize that we have to put the parties aside and all to come together as Americans and realize we have to take this country back. Thank you.
But I think Steven Seagal said it pretty good there. He was speaking the truth. I've seen a couple other videos of him speaking the truth as well in regards to the environment and stuff, and he's really got a lot of solid things to say. So those are a couple examples of what you can find on the Average Liberator. He's always posting really good information and videos that are fundamental, I think, and ring a lot of truth. So without further ado, I'm going to get Koerri on board here. So I'm just going to get Skype up and give him a call. And I'm really stoked to have him on. I've spoken to him a few times, and he definitely knows a lot what's going on there. So, right on.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, Koerri, how's it going, man?
Pretty good, pretty good. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Yeah, I got you on screen there. There we go.
Everything's good. Is
Yeah.
my audio okay?
Should be. I'll EQ it
All
as
right.
we go. Yeah, right on.
All right, for sure. Perfect. I had to I'm in my daughter's nursery right now just because I didn't want any interruptions to happen. I have like a schedule going for my broadcast, but time is tight, but anything to get, up on here to help you out, Mark.
Right on, man. Yeah, I wanted to say that right away, actually, is congrats on the addition to your family. That's a life-changing experience, and it's
Thank
awesome
you,
that
thank you.
awesome that you have a kid now, and I think you'll be a good father as well, teaching her the truth when she gets older and stuff, and
Mhm.
and all that kind of stuff. So it's awesome.
Yeah, I
Congrats.
can't wait for that actually. It's definitely a life-changing experience, and I just feel blessed being awake, being able to deal with the process. I feel like it's going to be a breeze, besides dealing with the state. But, besides that, I think everything's going to go nice and smooth. So it's
Absolutely.
exciting.
Yeah, so I was just showing people your website there before I brought you on board, just to let people know a bit about what you post on there and stuff. And we watched a couple of
Mhm.
videos there. Yeah, you're always posting good stuff on your site, and it's awesome that you're on the Truth Broadcast Network as well. It's awesome to see the network expanding with some good, solid, knowledgeable people. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
really
yeah, the
great.
network it's definitely advancing nice. I like the direction we're going in. We have some pretty solid broadcasters. I was just thinking, I wanted to tell you, like, your show is like, I've caught it a few times, and I really like your format, and I think you do a real good job. Your show is definitely awesome, so I'm honored to be here, man.
Ah, thanks, man. I appreciate that, and I gotta thank Truth Broadcast Network for that. Harry Link and Mike Chesney and Kriston and Steven and all them guys. It's a good team we got going, and it's really awesome that you joined me on the show as well, because you're very knowledgeable about some things, especially in regards to American politics and what's going on over there. I think
Mm.
you're pretty knowledgeable about that, and which is really awesome, and you got a good clear mind to spot all the BS, I guess you
Yeah,
could say.
yeah. Yeah, you definitely have to have a clear mind. You definitely have to, face this thing, this whatever you want to call it. I like to give it different titles. I like to call it the Kraken from time to time, but to face it head on, you have a clear head. Otherwise, you'll get caught up or you might go crazy, man. We've seen it happen a few times in the movement. So,
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely some harsh material to learn and come across, and it is hard to take it sometimes. You know what I mean? Actually,
hmm
for the March of Freedom, I'm working on the episodes for that right now, and the first episode's called The Breaking Point, and that's kind of like what it's about. Some people,
hmm
everyone has a different breaking point. Some people can handle it; they got a good threshold, and they go forward, and they're vigilant, but others are lost in the mind, I guess.
yeah, yeah, they definitely are. And everybody does have their own breaking point. I mean, I've yet to find mine. Hopefully, it's, nothing too crazy. But I mean, I guess I know how to limit myself. So,
Yeah, that's cool. So how long how like you just recently started broadcasting with Truth Broadcast Network, and you're doing it nightly, which is awesome. That's a lot of
mm.
info you're presenting and stuff. But what made you want to do this, and how did you link up with Truth Broadcast?
Well, yeah, I do the show Monday through Friday on Truth Broadcast Network, and that's at 11 p.m. Central Time. So that's midnight Eastern. But I mean, I was really radio's always been something I guess I've always been kind of interested in. Entertaining is something I MC, so like the past few years, I had just been focusing primarily just on, doing shows and writing music and recording records and things like this. But as I basically began to wake up, I'd say I really start to wake up when I was about maybe 20, after I got out of jail for, being incarcerated for 4.5 months for 5 grams of marijuana. So, it's really a long story. I guess I could say I've really been kind of awake my entire life, just dealing with, the whole, ordeal of being a black man in America. Not to, sound cliche, but it is what it is. And it kind of keeps you keen on, certain aspects of the government and, the police force and things like that. So
Mm-hmm.
I've kind of always, kind of thought the system was messed up. And, being a skateboarder as well, that kind of, F the government was kind of, part of my background anyway. So,
Yeah.
I was a rebellious kid in America. Rebellious black youth, in a, majorly white community in Wisconsin. So, you know, punk rock community. That's
Yeah.
just, I kind of always was anti-government, but I never really thought that it was really that twisted until I actually ended up getting locked up and thinking about the situation that I was in, being in a cage. I had no idea when I was going to be released. I was just kind of there for almost half of a year, just drifting because of, a little bit of bud. And, it just made me think. And when I got out, I watched this movie Zeitgeist again because my brother had me watch it before I ended up, in the situation that I was in. And from there, I just, started absorbing knowledge, started listening into the Alex Jones show, InfoWars, started reading texts, Behold the Pale Horse, things like this. Also, just, getting into everything, and the Fed, that book by Ron Paul, all of these different things, and just trying to absorb as much knowledge as I possibly could because I wanted to find a way to basically combat the system because I felt that I was wronged completely and that the game was rigged, and I wanted to, understand how everything worked.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically what got me here. And before I started doing the show on Truth Broadcast Network, I was doing a blog talk radio show, just because I kind of wanted to get my feet wet, just to see, how it was to broadcast, just because, I feel like I have a lot to say. I feel like I have, quite a bit of knowledge that, I'd like to share, or at least, converse with people about. So I started the blog talk radio show, and just being, doing activism. I ended up in the newspaper. I believe this is I think that's what got Mike Pachesney to to notice who I was, because he lives in the city over from Kenosha. He lives in Racine, and I live in Kenosha, Wisconsin. So I ended up in the Kenosha News because we had a protest against the Syrian war conflict. And I was doing the radio broadcast from then, so we ended up friends on Facebook. He seen that I was broadcasting on Blog Talk Radio, and basically just asked me if I would like to do a show on Truth Broadcast Network. And from there, we got set up, and I've been doing Monday through Friday at 11 p.m. ever since. So
Awesome. Yeah, that's an incredible story there for sure. I didn't know about a lot of that stuff there that you're talking about, and I totally agree with you. You know what I mean? America has had a lot of history against like the black community, especially. I did a documentary on Malcolm X, and I uncovered a lot of stuff there. And wow, you know what I mean? There's a huge.
It's deep, man.
That. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely super deep, and I mean, I definitely preach, not, well, I'm not going to say I preach, but I definitely advocate, equality for everyone. And I just think everybody should live together and, live in harmony and peace. But there's things about the system that if, I were to say, if people may take it the wrong way, like I may be racist or something, when it's really not that. But that goes to the conditioning of the society, of the world, basically, of the racial conditioning of, if you say something, it's going to sound politically incorrect, and, people are going to look down on it. So we got to kind of break past that before people could really handle, a lot of the extreme truth out there, I guess I'll say.
So do you think that it's changed over the years? Like, is it better now, or do you still see that in society in America?
In society, well, I mean, society honestly is past it, but with the way the mainstream media portrays things, there's always going to be those, those easily deceived and those easily brainwashed that go along with the establishment line, excuse me. So I mean, I think it's definitely improved, and I really don't think it's that big of an issue. And I honestly feel that it would fix itself if, people kind of backed off a little bit and just let it take its course, instead of, every time an incident happens, going on TV and, spending weeks, months, and all of this, questioning the whole situation. So,
yeah, that's good that it's not existent anymore. You know what I mean? Because I mean, it is a big blemish on American history as well as world history. It still exists around the world, this whole racist mentality, and you have these apparent neo-Nazis now in Ukraine, in Crimea, and linking with Russians.
But we got to look who funds those people, though,
Exactly.
And it's the governments, mainly the Western governments, primarily the United States government. So, we didn't we give them $50 million, I believe. I think it was 50 million or it was billion, but I'm pretty sure it was million. I'm just gonna stick with million just to lowball it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, and that's on record that we don't know about all the black ops money that that they've been obtaining from us. So, and we can't speak about that, otherwise we're gonna be labeled as conspiracy theorists. So.
Yeah. Absolutely. And the Ukraine thing going on, it's a rat's nest, you know what I mean? It's like, when you look at it, there's so much going on, so many sides, so many different sides to what's going on. But it's all the same. It's the New World Order agenda unfolding. That's exactly what it is. I mean, the
Yeah.
West and the East are working together hand in hand. I think isn't Putin like a royal archmason, and Obama's like they're high ups. You know what I mean? These guys
Yeah,
aren't
it's just
small fish.
they're just actors. I'm not going to
Yeah.
necessarily say Putin's an actor, but Obama gives me strong reason to believe that he is just basically an actor. Maybe not like a Broadway actor, or a silver screen actor,
Yeah.
but he is acting because he obviously, if he does really, mean and think up everything that he's done through both of these terms, then he is, he's not all the way there. But otherwise, he's an actor. That's the only thing that makes it make sense, So.
Yeah, and yeah, I think I played that Steven Seagal clip before you came on, and he really says it well there. You know, he should be impeached. I think just
Yeah,
because of what he's done.
he should have. I think. Well, he may have been should have been impeached before this.
Yeah.
But I think after Libya, for me, it was a wrap.
Yeah.
Especially, not saying, not to tote the black line, but as a black guy, to see the first black president bomb black babies in Libya and then cause black genocide after the fact it's just it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So yeah, he should have been impeached then, but Benghazi, all of this Fast and Furious, all of these things that have happened, he definitely should have been gone, long gone, a long time ago. But that goes back to the politically incorrectness and politically correctness and all of that good stuff here in the USA. We can't say anything about it because you'll be a racist because MSNBC says so and all of this good stuff.
So what do you think? Like personally, what do you think are the most pressing issues that face Americans today? Like, what do you think the biggest problems are?
Well, we don't have money. So we're going to need some of that. I'm talking about real money, not these Federal Reserve notes, this fiat currency. I'm talking about something real that's backed by gold or silver, something strong. And I'm not talking about bringing back necessarily Glass-Steagall. Actually, I would say you should do that, but I'm definitely saying getting a new currency, starting a new currency, having it ran by the Treasury, and getting rid of the Federal Reserve for one, because with the central bank, we're done for. They got us tied up. And then secondly, I think we should get rid of a lot of these groups like the CIA and the FBI and all of these different organizations within the government that just waste our money and commit crimes
The
and
alphabet
sell
soup.
drugs. Yeah, the alphabet soup.
Yeah,
Yum,
the
yum.
Truman went on a haywire there in the 50s. He was on a streak creating all these alphabet groups, the health industries,
Yeah.
the medical and dental, and all these like tons of
Yeah.
groups. They're
Even like
not necessary.
things like the EPA and things like that. People like, and the reason people go along with it though is because it seems like something that would be okay, like the environmental groups and things like this. Like it sounds good, but they're also letting things in that they know are bad, and then they're also like the DNR. They're trying to take people's homes and their possessions for overfishing and stuff like this. This is just completely ridiculous. We don't need vigilantes trying to enforce laws for fishing. We need to just, if you want to have town rules or something like this, then handle it that way. But don't have people on the hunt looking for people and stuff like that. It's just, it's just ridiculous, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's your take on Obamacare?
Obamacare should go in the garbage, and I would never sign up for something like that. It's funny because at the college I go to here in Kenosha, it's just a local community college. I'm going there to learn greenhouse cultivation. But anyways, they had the what are they, the what are they called? The Obamacare, whatever. The ladies that don't know anything. That basically, it's funny. I went there. I went to their little Obamacare station. They asked me if I wanted to sign up. I said I just basically wanted some information. There was another guy there with me, asking questions too. And they basically couldn't answer any of the questions at all. They said, just go online. I tried to go online there. They had a tablet, which was funny. You could tell they were just super trendy, brainwash Obama people. Not to down anybody like that or anything, but they were Obama people.
Doing it
And
for cash, I guess.
yeah,
Doing it for
doing
the
it
money.
definitely. No, they were independent contractors. I asked them if they're affiliated with any political organization, and they said they weren't. And I looked it up. I can't remember the name of the institution, but they weren't affiliated. But they might be somehow looped in. I didn't look that hard, so. But they really didn't know anything. They were proud to have tablets. They said, "Ooh, yeah, let's use the tablet. Use the tablet." Then they bust out the tablet. They can't use the tablet, so they get a laptop. This lady doesn't know how to use the laptop, and once I show her how to bring the page up, um, after I do that, then we get to the page, and she's basically just telling me to fill in my information on the thing and let the website generate it for me. So I don't understand why these people are getting paid.
Yeah.
I guess some people are completely computer illiterate. I mean, I was born in 1988, so I kind of grew up with the age of the computer. So I mean, I understand these things, and I'm sure there's people that are 65 plus that don't really understand computers like that. But they're really not. They're not showing them anything. These people are getting paid with government funds. I'm pretty sure, and it's crazy. It's
Mm.
just completely useless. That aspect is useless. I don't need someone dictating my life, telling me I have to have insurance because, quite frankly, I'm not about to pay for it. And if you're gonna send the IRS with hollow point bullets with assault weapons after me because I don't want to pay for your insurance, then I guess you're gonna have to do that.
Yeah, isn't there like high statistics of people that didn't accept Obamacare and stuff like that? Pretty sure there's a lot of
Uh,
people that don't.
Yeah, yeah. I honestly don't know anyone personally. There might be a few, like in my family or something, or my girlfriend's family, or my friend's family, or something that signed up for it, maybe. But anyone personally that I talk to on a regular basis, I know no one that has
Mm.
signed up for Obamacare. So
Yeah, that's crazy. I think it's just a way to gouge the pockets. Definitely,
yeah, yeah.
definitely.
It was just definitely just a scam, and the minions fell for it. Of course, they went ahead and did it, but that's what they want. That's all I can really say. If that's what you wish for, then you're gonna get your wish. But I want no parts of it, and I'm not. I'm gonna opt out. I'm just verbally gonna opt out, and I'm just gonna you know just commit civil disobedience and not do anything and just sit back at home and act like it never happened because
Yeah, civil
I'm
disobedience. It's a good way to explain it for sure. And another good example of good civil disobedience is in Connecticut. All the people that didn't go to reserve their weapons and all that stuff.
right.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, it definitely is. That's what I was hoping was going to happen, and I mean, I knew, like, I'm in Wisconsin here, and people here are about guns. And I like it a lot. I mean, some people aren't. There's gonna be those that are afraid of them, afraid of the objects that have no soul and can't do anything on their own. But for the most part, people here in Wisconsin are super pro gun. And I know for a fact that if they even try to say something about we're gonna, restrict guns, people aren't going for it. They're trying locally here some stuff to try to get people that have domestics and things like this on their records locally try to take their guns, but even that people aren't turning their guns in for, and they've been trying that since 2012 here. So I mean, I'm glad Connecticut did the right thing, and the people are showing them that, we're not about to just give up our guns.
Hmm.
Who the hell are you?
Yeah, it's a strong statement when like an entire, either city or a state or province is standing up against the government, not consenting with what they're trying to pass. A lot of
Mm,
times these laws are passed too without public vote. It's the councilors of the city's vote. Just like the fluoride issue, that's the same thing. It's not a public vote. It's the city councilors that are going to be voting that in. And I know that's something that you're strongly passionate about is the fluoridation issue.
definitely.
Uh,
That's why I have my reverse osmosis right here, man.
Right on. So you reverse osmosis your own water in your house, like you have a distiller and all that stuff.
No, no, not yet, my friend. I wish, but locally, there's places. It's winter time now, but we have a fresh spring here at Petrified Springs in Kenosha, and all of our local grocery stores all have reverse osmosis, so we can just go there. It's just like 39 cents for a refill, and I just go there and stock up on
Nice.
my water. And I tell all my friends and people locally to do the same thing, just because it's cheap and it's available. And I mean, I know a lot of people get like, they're just so used to using the tap, but all of my friends now, I have them, they're all just on the reverse osmosis. And I mean, one day when when we get better jobs or our surf jobs start paying us more, we will definitely have the nice equipment.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Uh, so how is like with the fluoridation issue and stuff like that? Is your community
Mhm.
fluoridated? Like they have fluoridated water?
Yes,
Yeah.
1.1 parts per million here in
Oh yeah.
Kenosha. Hmm. Yeah, it's sickening, man. And that's not the only thing that they have. There's like chlorine and other things that they put in the water too.
Mm.
But the fluoride is definitely, to me, one of the biggest things. Um, right now, it's kind of it's election time right now. So on my show and things like this, I've just been trying to interview a lot of the candidates and bring the topic up to them so they know about fluoridation and things like this.
That's cool.
So after election time, we could utilize them having the knowledge and try to combat this. So that's why I've just been trying to, get on a personal level with, majority of the aldermen here. So hopefully in 2014 we can try to make a change.
Hmm.
I've been, you know, out here kind of, there's a few other activists, but, coordinating things like this, you know how it goes. Sometimes, people's schedules don't work, especially when other people have children and lives and, campaigns and all of these other different types of things that some of the people involved have to do. So, I've basically just been on the journey alone. And, I've communicated with the general manager of the water utility here. He basically gave me his email address because he said that I didn't come off as crazy like everyone else that approached him about the topic did.
Hmm.
So he kind of gave me the pass. But then, weird things started happening with my email account, when we were emailing each other back and forth, things like this. So basically our contact got, cut off. Um, I've talked to the alderman, like I've said. So, I'm just trying to make a change. Hopefully, I want to try to arrange. We've tried a few here, but turnouts. It's hard to do in these cities, in these big cities here,
Hmm.
on the state line because we have a lot of anti anti-truth people that live in a city like Kenosha. But I definitely have been injecting a lot of truth locally here. And I mean, not just locally. My show is definitely a nationwide, national, and worldwide broadcast, and we have people that tune in from all over the nation and the globe and things like this. But it's tough with the fluoride but I can't give up, It's been about 2 years that I've been trying and trying, and now I feel like I have myself almost at a platform where I can make some change and where my voice is loud enough in the city so people will actually listen to it. So hopefully 2014 will make a change here with the fluoridation in Kenosha.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. You're doing it the right way for sure. You got to influence your counselors since they have the vote. You got to teach them and show them the science and educate them on it. And you're doing a good job by having them on and offering it to them and mentioning it to them at least, because then it's in their mind, right? They might remember
Right.
that.
And there's no ballot initiative here in Wisconsin, so it's all about the legislators. So if you're an elected official, you're responsible for changing legislation even on the local level. So it's super tough to get things done unless you basically have these people in your pocket, or they know who you are, and your word means something. So the citizens of Wisconsin basically they screwed everybody over, when it comes to making change. But we're seeing things turn over. They have a full legalization bill up, and a state representative put that up. So things are turning over. So hopefully, if we can get legal weed, we can get fluoride free water too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think once the right people are in place and they know the right things, then things will change for sure. Hopefully nationally too, like not just in your community, but all communities. We all got to learn about the truth about fluoride and get that out of there for sure.
Yeah, and we just got to make sure the feds don't come in and try to overturn anything as well, because the feds like to come and waive their control.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. So, in regards to like the fluoridation issue, are you pretty much doing this all solo? Like, is there anybody else in the community helping you out or at all or anything?
yeah, well, I have a few friends that we're trying to get together, but wintertime is such a hard time here in Wisconsin to try to, get things done. The weather is so horrible. It's so cold. People's moods just, are so down. You can't really go outside because, there's, I'm sure it snows where
Same
you
here,
live.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's definitely hard to get things done like that. But communicating over, the internet and things like that back and forth, and trying to just set things up for the future have definitely been taking place. And I know there's a gentleman, he's actually a libertarian here by the name of Joseph Kexel. He is down for the movement, and actually he was a fluoridation warrior, and I believe he said the early 2000s. I interviewed him actually on my blog talk radio show before the Average Liberator on Truth Broadcast Network. So I've been talking with him, and there's also another lady here that actually went to high school with. Her name's Emily Rojas, who is actually super anti-fluoride. So we have a few strong people that, that are activists and definitely have, the knowledge to help wake people up. Now we basically are just at the point where we need to just get it all together, get the pamphlets out, get all the literature, and, hit the streets and find some more troops, and then, get it to the face of the council people.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, in my community, a good friend of mine is pretty much spearheading the campaign. He's approaching the local government and stuff like that, and the health organizations. And he just recently got an email back of them saying, like, because he was telling them, like, you're poisoning people, you're mass medicating them without their consent. This is against the law. You're breaking all these different laws.
Poison. They don't like when you say poison.
Yeah. So then they presented him with this email saying that it was all safe, that of course in its pure form it's very toxic and it needs to be handled properly, but because they dilute it and
with water.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's what their excuse is, and they sent him this big email like in their defense, right? So that's what's recently happened here in the last week or so in regards to the fluoride fight. So we're keeping it up, but that's what a lot of communities got to do. We got to do that, and
just tug and war.
Yeah, it's a tug of war, absolutely. And then once the right people are in place, then there you go. Even if a fluoride warrior, like you say, goes and runs for council and becomes a councilor, then that's one more vote against it. So that's eventually the wall will come toppling down, though.
Yeah.
So what's your predictions, I guess you could say, on the future of what's happening globally, like between the United States and Russia and all this stuff? And even other aspects, like what do you think?
Well, that's definitely the whole conflict with Russia right now. I feel personally, it's just kind of crazy how the events in the world kind of fall into play at convenient times. Like we have the Pope talking about it's okay for people to be homosexual, and everybody should just live together, and all this, all religions are the same and things like this. Now, me, I'm not a super religious guy, but when you hear the Pope saying this, the Pope of the Catholic Church saying this stuff, it just, that points me to, the opposite of what they represent, and that's Satanism. And that just rolls us back to the New World Order. That's the one world religion right there. And then how are you going to roll that in? Well, we're going to need a mass war. We're going to need a world war to happen. So now we have the conflict of Russia, right here, boiling up. Who knows what will happen? I'm not going to say that World War III is about to happen right now. All I'm saying is they could pull the trigger whenever they want to, and it'll happen. So that's all taking place. The economy is just sinking and getting worse and worse and worse and worse. We're in the midst of QE Unlimited. So, I mean, we're into this starting year two of the QE Unlimited, basically. So, we're going to see where that takes us. I mean, it's crazy. We're on the verge of a food crisis from the drought from last year. People don't understand how crops work and things like this. So, we're going to see. We're in for a wild ride. But, you just got to have the knowledge. That's why I take, horticulture classes, because, we need to learn how to grow, whether it be, just setting up like an aquaponic system, or, a hydroponic system, or just any kind of system, indoor grow system, so you can grow something indoors and having a little something outside, so you can take care of yours when it comes down to surviving and eating and, living, because that's what we're here for, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we need to become self-sufficient, independent beings rather than dependent on everything else. And the way that life is designed in the education system and everything else is designed to make you less independent, essentially, for sure.
Yeah, it's super nuts when you get to that level of just of reading literature and obtaining knowledge, to the point where you realize that it's just a full spectrum trap.
Yeah.
From every aspect of life, they have it designed for you to fail.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I'm reading this book right now by Aldous Huxley. Where is it? The Doors of Perception, right here, and this is essentially about his mescaline trip. He took mescaline to see what it would do and document the experience. And there's this one line in here, very, very profound, I think. Let me just check this out.
All right.
I got to read this, because it really does. It's about the education and the indoctrination of people. We can never dispense with language and the other symbol systems, for it is by means of them, and only by their means, that we have raised ourselves above the brutes to the level of human beings, but we can easily become the victims as well as the beneficiary of these systems. We must learn how to handle words effectively, but at the same time we must preserve and, if necessary, intensify our ability to look at the world directly and not through that half-opaque medium of concepts which distorts every given fact into the all too familiar likeness of some generic label or explanatory abstraction. literary or scientific, liberal or specialist. All our education is predominantly verbal and therefore fails to accomplish what it is supposed to do. Instead of transforming children into fully developed adults, it turns out students of the natural scientists who are completely unaware of nature as the primary fact of experience, it afflicts upon the world students of the humanities who know nothing of humanity, their own or anyone else's. So that's telling you right there that words, symbols, everything in this life, entire life is just boom, once you release that and you get rid of it, then you're left with the real fundamental things in life, like nature and how everything works and oneness and I don't know. But yeah, that one, I think he says it right there, like, very well. And you just reminded me of that with what you said, for sure.
I can imagine him saying that. Probably just flew so eloquently.
Yeah, and like that's adrenaline, right? The human adrenaline. And there's another part in there where he discusses how when you fast, your body is like depleted of certain nutrients that are like prohibitors almost of adrenaline. There's other things he says in there too. I can't remember exactly to quote it, but essentially it says like when you fast or you're not ingesting nutrients and stuff, your brain works crazy and you have more fundamental thoughts, almost profound thoughts because of it. And that's also how you would be if you didn't have an influence from the outside world, right?
Yeah, because I think personally we eat way more than we should. Definitely 3 squares a day, like breakfast. Honestly, I haven't really eaten breakfast in the longest time, and I'm completely healthy. And it's definitely just because society has always told us that we need to eat this much at these certain times. And look at America. The average weight in America is 190 pounds, and the average height is 5'9". So that's overweight. If you look at the statistics, or if you look at the Michelle Obama's whatever her organization or whatever, the healthy eating, they label you obese at a certain weight. I believe it's 160 pounds or something like that.
Huh.
So Americans are obese.
Do you guys have a food system? Like in Canada here, we have something called the Canada Food Guide, and it says you need to eat like 7 servings of vegetables, 3 of meat, all this stuff.
We have a food pyramid, and then we have this
even that
Michelle
word there,
Obama
food pyramid.
diet.
Ouch. That's scary.
The food. Yeah, there's the food pyramid.
Ouch. That's right there. That's telling you.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And it tells you, you could eat sugar sparingly and all of this other BS in the food pyramids.
I think
they have this sweets are on top of the pyramid, and guess what everyone wants to eat all the time?
Yeah.
The sweets.
Yeah, I think those food guides are a way for these food companies to profit lots and for us to get fatter, because they're saying you need all this stuff and it's garbage food that we're eating that much of.
You need this much to ruin your health. So eat this so Big Pharma can take care of it.
Yeah, so Big Pharma can take care of it.
Yeah, it's definitely, and for the food, a lot of food is gross. Like, I work with food. But luckily there's a lot of vegetables and things like that. But food, I think, at least American food here, mainstream food, the trendy food is pretty disgusting. Jack full of, if it's even real, it's jack full of additives and all of this other BS, and people just love it, man.
Yeah.
They love it because the MSG, but they love it. Actually,
that reminds me. I was gonna actually play like a video now that we're talking about this. There's a short video about something the hamburger, the 14-year-old hamburger. I was gonna. Have you seen that one?
Possibly. I'm not too sure though. Maybe not. You said a 14-year-old hamburger?
Yeah, it's crazy. I think everyone needs to see this video, and you just reminded me of this, so I was gonna pop that on there. I think it's like 2 minutes or something. So.
All right, let's check it out.
And it was actually on the doctors, like that show, The Doctors. So it's it was professionals looking at this and saying, what's going on here? So I'm just trying to pop it up. There we go. Yeah, it was bought in Utah in 1999, and this was in like 2004 or something like that this episode was broadcast. This is really everyone's got to see this one. If you haven't seen this, it's gonna blow your mind. Definitely.
14 years old.
Yeah, here we go.
Disgusting.
Oh, it's kind of slow. My computer's a bit slow when it's broadcasting sometimes, with everything running there. But
yeah, I know how that goes.
Yeah. Well, it won't go to full screen for some reason. Oh, there we go. An error occurred. Well, I don't know what error that was. They don't want me showing this video. That's brutal. Sometimes when you reload it, though.
McDonald's.
What's that?
Blocked by McDonald's.
Yeah, blocked by McD's. But yeah, we got McDonald's here.
To block this video.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just minimizing that so I could try to refresh it. Should work though. Like, it's probably just a bit slow because of the.
Yeah, I've seen some videos of food, 5-year-old French fries, and all of this other gross stuff that happens with this food. French fries should definitely decompose after a few weeks, not 5 years. 5 years
Absolutely.
going strong.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know why it ain't working. I always seem to have problems. Like broadcasting. Do you notice that sometimes you just get like crazy problems like that when you're going off the fly?
Yeah, I've had my my screen just go completely white until it was like time for me to stop broadcasting, and a bunch of weird stuff. It's it may have just been my computer, but I still use it and it doesn't happen anymore. So I mean, and I didn't change anything with it. So you never know what's really happening with this whole NSA spy grid and all this other BS
So
that goes
this has
down.
been kept
Oh, that video's
for
playing there
14
now.
years by David Whipple, who says he bought it July 7th, 1999 in Logan, Utah. This
It looks
Yeah, I'll full screen it.
still looks
It
brand new.
actually looks like one that I bought a couple of weeks ago.
So it's not moldy.
I hate
How can it not be moldy?
well,
it's hard.
Yeah, I'll
It's
give you one guess.
completely
It's called
preserved.
preservatives.
Oh,
That's a
If
14
the
scary.
mold won't eat it, if fungus won't eat it, bugs won't eat it.
I have
maybe
to- No,
maybe
no,
we
no,
shouldn't
no.
be eating it. You put all these preservatives in foods like that to increase the shelf life. But what does that do to
worked.
our shelf life?
But let's talk to David. So David bought this 14 years ago, and David, we are glad to have you, but we also are asking the question, why? Why did
Please
you keep
tell
this?
us why.
It wasn't on purpose. I bought that hamburger to use for the same purpose. I was showing some people how enzymes work a little bit, just some friends, and I thought a hamburger would be a good idea. And I used it for a month, and then I forgot about it. It ended up in a paper sack, in the original sack with the receipt, in my coat pocket, tossed in the back of my truck,
There you go.
and it sat there for, 2 or 3 months. The coat ended up in the coat closet. My wife didn't discover this for at least a year or two after that. And we pulled it out, and we went, oh, my gosh, I can't believe it looks the same way.
Yeah,
It is remarkable.
I mean, I've heard of collecting like baseball cards and magazines, but like burgers?
I think it's a good object lesson. It's great for my grandkids to see what happens with fast food.
Well, we are, David, we are keeping it safe for you. We are going to send it back in a package to its home sweet home. It literally just told me, I miss you, David. So it's coming home, buddy.
And don't worry, we will not take a bite of it before we send it back.
promise.
David, thank you so much for
Well, there it is, folks. That was the 14-year-old McDonald's hamburger that this guy found in his jacket pocket. Yeah, he found it in his jacket pocket and didn't decompose in 14 years. So, and the French fries too, right? So it's exactly like what you're saying. Like there's nothing good in that food. it's not real food. It's like more like eating plastic.
Yeah. I'll take a large Diet Coke with that, please.
Yeah, the acids there. I haven't eaten at McDonald's in a long time because of that. I mean, I went in there and drink coffee sometimes, but that's it.
I like how they wore the gloves to examine it, because it's definitely, there's something up with the burger. 14 years and it still looks the same. It's just that's gross, and people wonder why they crave it. There's something in it, man. It's definitely like crack. There's something in it that people crave, because I mean, you see the lines, everybody. You see the lines in the drive-through. Noon, McDonald's. Don't even try to drive down that street because the drive-through is, backed up. People are hooked, man.
Yeah.
It's gross. And it's definitely a challenge. I mean, I was fed McDonald's and stuff when I was young. I ate it growing up. I live in Wisconsin, so I like to party a little bit. When I was younger, when I was like 19, 20, we'd party, and I'd go to McDonald's and just down endless amounts of fries and stuff like this. But luckily, I encountered something that was way more important, and realized that you shouldn't eat stuff that bugs wouldn't even eat. Mice won't even eat this stuff. Like, come on.
Yeah, it's a lot of people would say, well, it's the only way. Their argument, anyways, in regards to this, is it's the only way to feed the world, right? By making all this processed food.
We have to send the GMO to the African kids. How about you just leave Africa alone, and it'll take care of itself, and I'm sure it will build things far greater than you give it credit for.
Yeah, and in Africa they have all the gems and minerals and gold in there, and you got American companies and other international companies just mining them out, and you have such poverty there. It's insane. Yeah. And actually, there's one of the gold companies named is Absu Gold Company, and Absu is the Sumerian, like the god of the sea, the pretty much creator. You know what I mean? So it's very occultist, and Necronomicon too. Absu's in there in the Necronomicon, so I don't know.
Yeah, man, it's definitely, that whole situation is just completely wild. But that's why I thought, maybe one day we could have a better society, a better world, and Africa could actually, do better, and not necessarily have to be controlled by China or the U.S. or Russia, and it could do its own thing. And then maybe I might want to go over there or something. But at the time being, there's conflicts here that need to be resolved, and I think that's where I'll do best.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on around the world, and I think it's all a way to create fear. Like with the U.S. and Russia thing, I don't personally think that it's going to break out into a war or escalate into the Third World War. I think it's all just they're playing their pieces to get people to believe certain things so they could do it non-violently. I don't know. That's a confusing situation, right, Rush, with what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different interests, happening with that conflict. There's, the whole pipelines through Russia and all these other things. The U.S. we're a big baby, that's a spoiled brat that's used to getting its way, and we just, we want control of Ukraine for, our own special interests, even though, Russia's, had things established for quite some time. So we're gonna whine and whine to the UN, and we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm. Another interesting thing too is about Crimea is that the oldest pyramids are there. A friend of mine posted a couple articles about this and showed that to me, that some of the oldest pyramids I think they've ever found on Earth are in Crimea, and that could be why they're going there, and they want it so badly right now. You never know, right? They did that with Ur.
So I can destroy it all.
Yeah, they did that with Ur in Iraq, the House of Abraham. They conquered that area, and now they have it
Yeah,
on
actually,
lockdown.
yeah, you're 100% right about that. You're right. That's exactly what they're trying to do. I didn't even think about it from that aspect. They definitely need to go and destroy all of those artifacts before they could finish the mission. So yeah, damn.
Yeah, there's something
Yep,
going
that's
on, and it's all according to the plan. I think definitely.
mhm. Yeah, definitely, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing about it. There's so many layers to the matrix, that we live in. It's almost, too much to handle at sometimes, because there's like I said, there's so many layers to it. You could just completely bypass something, and I feel like you have to be a pretty good critical thinker to deal with a lot of this information, because otherwise you just, I mean, wouldn't understand it. And I could see how a lot of people just, let this blow right over their heads, because it's pretty hard to interpret sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's why you gotta kind of decipher it, I guess. You gotta have
Mhm.
a BS meter up, and you gotta filter it out. That's what we do, I guess. We try to filter out all the lies and bureaucracy and hypocrisy they try to throw at us, and
Mhm.
that's
And that's
what.
that's the cool thing about knowing like-minded individuals as well, because we all think differently, and since we're all human, none of us is perfect, so we all have different thought processes, and together we could figure out way more than just one individual
Mhm.
alone. So that's a cool thing about being on the network and stuff like that too, because just communicating with all you guys from time to time, it's awesome. And I just learned something. I just got a different viewpoint that I definitely did not think of, and that's just gonna help my activism, help my work more. So
There you go. That's what's needed, right?
mhm.
Another interesting thing with all this Ukraine stuff too is like what happened with Abby Martin there and the anchor from RT quitting her job right on air. Uh,
Mhm.
those are more mainstream broadcasters or news reporters reporting on this stuff, but there's even the anchors now are starting to see through this, through all the lies and stuff like that. And I think
Mhm.
that's one thing where we're separate and being independent is we always don't have the gatekeeper there controlling what we say. You know what I mean? That's the main thing.
What I don't understand is why a lot of these journalists don't go independent and just try to start things. Like Ben Swan did it. I mean, he kind of rode Fox to get himself established, and then hop ship, and then he's doing fine. So I don't understand why they just, if they feel as strongly about it, why don't they just create their own show, their own stuff, and broadcast and do it that way? But I guess they're looking for the big paycheck to pay off their schooling. So
Yeah, something. Yeah, money will corrupt though for sure. Uh,
mm,
that's unfortunate about it about money is it will corrupt eventually. Not in all cases, but there's a lot of people that can't be bought out. But at the same time, there's a lot of people out there that are just they'll take that paycheck. They'll turn the cheek for a paycheck. It's brutal.
yeah. I mean, and yeah, and they were definitely working for RT too. So I don't understand, you know, why they wouldn't feel that it would be slightly biased. So
Mm. Yeah,
it's
like
Russia Today.
yeah. When
Come
when
on.
this stuff started to break, like it's been happening for over a year now for sure. All that stuff in Ukraine, but when it really
Mm.
started picking up, actually, you were like, "Did you see?" It was you that mentioned it to me. Actually, you're like, "Hey, did you check out what's going on in Ukraine?" And I was like, "No, I haven't had time to check the news really." And then I tuned into
Mhm.
RT, and boom, right there's all this Ukraine stuff. So I thank you for pointing it out to me that things were climaxing over there. I did hear about Ukraine probably about a year ago about like
Mhm.
protests there and stuff, but I didn't really pay much attention to it, I guess. But things have definitely escalated, and
Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
Kiev was on fire for a little bit there. So yeah, it definitely escalated. You see that the extreme right winger is gonna run for
yeah,
president, I believe, of Ukraine. So
yeah,
the
it's
big
It's
Pretty sure
absurd.
he's a Nazi, right? He's the neo-Nazi guy.
Mm-hmm.
Slapping
and
up the judges and stuff, the DA or whatnot.
Yeah, and the opposition also apparently hired snipers to shoot both sides. You know what I mean? So that they think that it's an
Yeah.
outside source. That's it's all
That's
propaganda.
that's big government, man. So
And
that's
what
all
we're
that
seeing
is.
there, one thing that you said you're also passionate about was the police state of things. And we're starting to see almost something like that over there, like where the police weren't attacking back. They were actually being beaten by the protesters and killed in a lot of instances because they were told, I think they were fearful of U.S. because the U.S. was saying, you better not kill the protesters, you better let this happen. And like you said,
Yeah.
they're backing it. So
Yeah, man, that's what happens. It's completely ridiculous to know that the country that I live in is responsible for so much death and destruction. And I I'm not trying to strike fear in the hearts of people around the world. That's not what I represent, and I didn't think that's what my flag represented, but apparently that's what it does represent. So we need to do something here in America. We need to, if we want to help people out, I don't see the problem of helping people out. But when you have people in fear that they will stand down and get beat to death because they're afraid that America will come bomb the shit out of their country, excuse me, then, there's something wrong, man.
yeah, and I'm seeing more and more articles being posted from America about the police state, police shooting people, killing dogs, abusing their authority. It's absurd how much stuff I'm seeing.
Yeah, they're doing ridiculous things. They're using what it's called the Civil Forfeiture Program, and they're using the Civil Forfeiture Program to obtain vehicles. Like here in Kenosha, Wisconsin, they obtained a Lenco Bearcat G2. In 2012, they obtained a Lenco Bearcat G3. So they're buying armored vehicles. They're loading up their personnel with equipment with these funds that they're basically stealing from people that are criminals and are drug dealers and things like this. Not saying that people that supply heroin and things like this are good people, but majority of the cases are people dealing with marijuana. Like the biggest bust here in Kenosha was a sting on a few marijuana dealers. And I talked to one of the guys off record, and he told me that they were trying to take all of his stuff. They seized the majority of his stuff. They were trying to take his car, but there was a lien on it, so they couldn't take his car. So they're just taking people's cash, their property. They're driving their cars around for undercover things. They're using the cash to buy armored vehicles and sniper rifles and bullets and all of this stuff. And it's all, legal.
Yeah.
And it's completely ridiculous. They're robbing people. They're robbing people and then using the money to buy armored vehicles.
That's insanity.
Yeah, and it's all okay because they're the police. They're the sheriffs. It's people really need to wake up. And I mean, I talk about this every time, because it seems like every month there's a situation where they roll out these Bearcats and bring out the tactical unit. Like there was a big ordeal. There was a shooting in a house. They blocked off the school, the road because it was by a school. They had all the kids terrified for a situation that could have been handled, a lot better and a little bit more quietly. They used flashbangs and pepper bombs and used a robot, and all of this made a whole commotion for a person that came out peacefully after 14 hours. So they're just trying to acclimate everyone to the police state because they're getting ready to roll it out. They're giving away free MRAPs all over the nation here in America. So it's it's that time for people to wake up.
Yeah, it's crazy for sure. and with the gun laws and all that stuff too, you know, with all the stuff in regards to that, there's some heavy profits being made right now from the arms industry, especially with overseas terrorism. You look at all these videos of what's going on in Syria and all these other countries, and you see all these, like, they're just shooting off into the sky pretty much. They're not hitting anybody.
Did you see? Did you see the video? There's a video. I don't know if I posted it. I meant to. I think I just favorited it because I wanted to write a blurb about this. But there's a video of these guys from California, these Hispanic guys that are Sardeno 13s. They're gangbangers in Syria, fighting with Al Qaeda.
That's crazy.
And they shot a video and posted it on Facebook, and it got picked up, and people find out who the guys are, and they're in the video saying, we're in Syria, we're real gangsters, we're fighting with Al Qaeda. And it's just making me think, so gangs, these basically these big gangs, these South American gangs, these Central American gangs are fighting with Al Qaeda. And I know that, you know, they're getting the weapons. They have to be getting the weapons from the U.S.
Yeah, and then you look at Ricky Ross and that coke connection there, the drug connection. They're probably doing that with guns too.
Yeah, so they're running these gangbangers as terrorists. We have, you know, people becoming Al Qaeda members, you know, leaving the military to become members of Al Qaeda. It's just, you know, really fishy, everything that's happening here. You know, it just seems like they're scooping up all the low level idiots and, you know, just trying to recruit whoever they possibly can to start this thing off. Because you know, I mean, we got some numbers here. I mean, there's a lot of guns, so they're gonna need whoever they can get, and it looks like they're, you know, scraping up the last of the guys. So that's just my personal feeling about it. So
yeah, that's interesting.
Why else would they, you know, be using gangbangers from Sir 13 gangbangers in Syria? Like,
yeah, they've got to be being paid by someone higher up. I think that's an interesting connection you made there, because the gangs activity in America is huge. In Canada, we have gangs and stuff like that, but there's so many in America, especially in these different urban areas. But they're also to hear that they're fighting alongside these terrorists in Al Qaeda,
and they're fighting alongside us as well, because it's known that all of the military, the United States military, has been infiltrated by gang members of all types. So these people are working both sides.
Wow. There's another connection. I wasn't aware of the gang members being involved in the military. That's
so this is all things that need to be looked at as well. So it's
interesting. Yeah, like with Fast and Furious, you have that happening, and Obama was directly, pretty much he gave the green light for that with Eric Holder and all those other, pardon my language, schmucks. But I don't know.
Definitely schmucks, man.
Yeah, Project Longevity. You have that going on in Connecticut, and then you have this. They're trying to restrict, make you register, and all this stuff. But I would definitely I've always known that it was the Americans, not the Americans solely, but there's other elements too. I strongly believe Israel's also involved over in Syria, heavily involved, Mossad and all that stuff. I think they're also working with Al Qaeda there. So it's like the Israel-U.S. connection again happening.
Oh no, we can't say that, because everybody will want to stone us if we say something about Israel. Yeah. Even though, you know, they're I mean, personally, just they're openly horrible people. The way they treat the Palestinians, the way they treat the African immigrants, the way they're just, you know, not all of them, but the government, the Israeli government, is horrible. I can't say the people are horrible. I'm sure the people are really nice in Israel, but their government is just as corrupt as ours. And, you know, we're basically America's their little lackeys. So, you know, we do what they say. And they're just as corrupt as us, if not more. So.
Hmm. Yeah, and they've always been working together, in my opinion. And with Israel being so close to what's going on in Syria, and then Turkey, you have this whole region there, Iraq, Afghanistan, the whole Middle East. It's like a domino effect really happening all in that region. They're trying to get control of that, and I definitely think that Mossad and Israel have a huge part in that. And obviously the U.S. too. They're using their muscle and force in there as well. But it's with what's happening in the Crimea right now too. I don't know how that's going to escalate on the whole global scale. But there's the United Nations is like the one world government system, and there's not too many countries that aren't under that umbrella, that aren't really adhering to the UN Charter and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That'd be North Korea, a couple others. Syria, I believe, is one of them.
Yeah.
So,
well, they will be shortly.
Mm-hmm.
Give
That's
it
what they're
time.
doing.
Yeah, man. It's sad to say that, but and they definitely did not want that. But that's where it's headed, because the West has to, they're the big baby that has to get what it wants. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we need to wake up. You're absolutely right. We need to get off our butts and get out there and do something, whether it be, spreading information, sharing information with your friends, talking about this, influencing your local party members, doing whatever it takes at all times, because it's really escalating now. The snowball's going down the hill. It's getting huge. There's a lot of problems.
Yeah, there's we just have to remember that, we have to just manage our time, and, no load is too much. We can take care of all of this, because, it can seem overwhelming, but, it's just something we got to deal with, or, our kids are going to have to deal with it, or their kids are going to have to deal with it. So let's just knock it out and make sure their lives can be nice and easy, because, we're already at this stage. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's some serious issues in the world that we can easily take care of if they're addressed properly. Like free energy, that's a big one. The Fukushima stuff, that's pretty much irreversible, but we should be addressing it a lot more than we are. There's all these problems in the world that are, like with the invasions and the occupations, those are another thing that we should not be allowing to happen. Cleaner food, cleaner water, free energy. If we focused on those things, I think the world would change very quickly. But
yeah, but we're gonna have to start with the water first, because once we get the fluoride out, then people will start thinking again, and things will warp themselves out.
Mm-hmm.
And fluoride, though, that's the biggest. That's the reason everything is happening right now. Without the fluoride, they can't control us. They still have their TV, but I don't think it'll work as good. They'll still have their psychotropics, but I don't think it'll work as good without the fluoride water. They need to keep the levels of fluoride in us high, so our minds are just mush. And I definitely can tell the difference of my thought process since I stopped consuming fluoridated water and started avoiding fluoride.
Oh yeah, it's very noticeable. Any listeners out there, viewers out there who have done the change themselves could, I guarantee you, agree with what we're saying here. You notice it, pretty much instantly after a couple days. Once your body's got good water in it, it's good.
You start thinking clear and all this good stuff, man.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So there is things we can do to address this. And the media, it does influence a lot of this. I think the media needs to start talking about real things rather than Justin Bieber's and all this other stuff. And one thing you mentioned there about the brains being mush, I recently saw an article. It was on CNN too. There's a report on this on CNN, how there's a bunch of babies in Washington that were born with, they had minimal brains. Mm-hmm. Their skulls were not very developed either. I don't know. Could be the effects of Fukushima.
That's the first thing I thought. It had to be. But I mean,
why in that area of Washington? That's what I was wondering.
I think the first case of that was in 2012, I believe. but I guess it just has been increasing. So, I mean, that makes perfect sense. In 2012, Fukushima happened in, the end, basically, or the last half of 2011. So, I mean, yeah, I think it's Fukushima. What changed? The only thing that changed was, Fukushima happened. So,
Have you heard of that happening in other places? Because I only heard about it
yeah,
in
that's the first time
Washington.
I've heard actually in Mexico City, people's children's being born without a brain because of the pollution in Mexico City. So, I mean,
So it
if
is other
there's some
places.
sort of so if there is some sort of connection with that, possibly, but I know, yeah, I mean, we really don't know. These things have to be studied, but I mean, who are we gonna rely on to do that?
Yeah, it's like the FDA. You watch that hearing where they're talking about the Fukushima actually this was after the BP oil spill, and they admitted right there that we're not testing the seafood, and there's a video there as well of the Fukushima farmers saying that we're shipping this stuff out without testing it. We know it's toxic, and we're still shipping it out. What are we doing?
Gotta get paid.
Money.
That's all. They don't care. They're shipping it across the world, or across the nation. Yeah, I don't care. Give me that money. Go ahead and eat your radiated shrimp, because you can't live without it, because it makes you feel classy. And that's just people being trendy, man. It sucks. It sucks.
Yeah.
They have to do the research, otherwise they're gonna be duped. And it's partially their fault. We always get mad at, the people selling these things, but as a consumer, you need to do your research. If you know shrimp comes from the Pacific, then why are you eating the shrimp?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like we know, not myself personally, but there's a lot of people out there who know full well about this. They've been warned, but they don't care. They just keep consuming the fluoride, eating the seafood, and it's their health. They're gonna be
Drinking the
feeling it later
Diet
on.
Cokes. That's really that's one of the ones that really get me though, because the aspartame is so horrible. It can make you go blind and cause you to have brain tumors, brain cancer, and all of these other things. Excuse me. And it's highly addictive, and it makes you obese. And people consume it because they feel that it's going to make them lose weight, for one, or they consume it because it's just in everything, like gum and candy and all of this other stuff. And they get hooked on it. And you could try to tell them not to do it. And I've told people about fluoride, and it's easier to get a good response about fluoridation than it is to get a good response about aspartame. And that's because these people become aspartame junkies. And I'm not trying to talk down about it because it's bad, because they've been duped by it as well. They've been told that it's okay, told that it's better than sugar and all this other ridiculous stuff, and it's really just the byproduct of E. coli, genetically modified E. coli at that. So it hurts, because I see these. I'll be at the grocery store, and I'll see these people. It's just so sad to see them, and they just look so down, and they look like they want to lose weight, and then they're grabbing 4 or 5 cases of Diet Coke, and I just sometimes I'll say something to them, but sometimes it's just I can't just do anything but feel bad, because there's no turning back. It's really a sad thing, honestly, man, because these people are killing themselves, and they think it's helping them, and they're just they're drowning their sorrows in more poison.
Yeah, just the other day I was on my way to work, and I drove by this woman on the corner, and she had a 2-liter of Diet Coke like this, and she was just hammering it down at the bus stop. You know what I mean? This is in the winter too. She's sitting there with a 2-liter, and she was like, I would say she was overweight, and she's dressed like she had like, she couldn't afford good clothes, just down and out from the system. I don't know. We are a product of this system, which is unfortunate because we have to deal with it. But that's once you know the problem, you address it, then you could solve the problem, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, and you got to take baby steps at first, but then, man, me, I'm trying to sprint, man. As you can see, I mean, that's why I started the broadcast. That's why I run the website. I mean, I'm really trying to do a lot of things. I have a few ideas for a couple documentaries that I want to get started for production. So, I'm just trying to stretch my legs and take this thing full speed ahead, because once you reach that point, it's like, man, I have this knowledge. I need to do something with it.
Yeah, and that's commendable, because that's what it's for. Everything we leave behind us doing these broadcasts and making documentaries or whatever we do is there forever, unless somebody gets rid of it. If you back it up, you have the data, it's information, it's knowledge, and it's there forever. That's what I always think about, you know what I mean? That's why I try to do so much as well, and try to get as much done in 1 year as possible, because what we leave behind is essentially like our legacy, right? It's going to help people out, help them understand stuff. So yeah,
help them get through it, man, because it's tough. And I mean, me, like, I really don't get too far into my super personal, background or whatever. But me personally, like, I was raised by my grandmother. I, never really had that, that mother, father, life connection, and it's
Oh, I think we lost Koerri there for a second. I noticed it was kind of going a bit slow there, so I'll have to get him back on board there. Yeah. There's a problem with this call. Yes, there is. Oh, and it won't let you rate it. Usually Skype calls, it'll let you rate it right after. But it doesn't seem like it's allowing me to do so now, which is strange. And it won't let me call him right now. He must have had an internet problem there. But I'll wait till to get him back on there. Once he comes back, if he gets a good connection again. That's how we do that truth broadcast, though. We gotta do with what we got and try to do the best we can, and try to work with what we got here. And that's why I commend all the broadcasters on the network, because it's not easy sometimes. You do get confronted with a lot of problems like this, and just got to try to make it better. Oh, it says call dropped. Well, I don't know. I'm sure he'll call back. There he is. Right on. Bonjour.
Hello. Sorry about that. I definitely forgot to plug my laptop in. I apologize.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, I was just saying that's how we do it on Truth Broadcast. Sometimes things happen, you know what I mean? Can't help that.
If you watch The Average Liberator, you know that I stress that these are live broadcasts and anything may happen randomly. You might hear some random dial tone music or something, but we will be back ASAP always, and it always happens. So
yeah, well, it's good to have you back for sure. One thing I notice sometimes is my things freeze up, and you have to stop it and start it over again, relog back in, all that fun stuff. And obviously videos don't play and all that stuff, but yeah, you're all right. We're doing this live, so it's not always going to be smooth. We don't have anybody behind us. There's no crew.
There's definitely no crew, just a couple of guys running their own platforms. But that's the fun thing about it, because it makes you feel more like this is ours, like my show. It's my show. I have the say. There's really no limit to really what I can do. I hold, the future of the show is in my hands, and same thing with your broadcast. And it feels good knowing that there's no real boss. There's really, there's no one, trying to filter our information or anything like that. We just go 100% all in, and it's great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, Harry Link is the founder, and he's an awesome guy, because he lets us have the freedom, and he helps us out. And Mike Chesney, if we had a crew, Mike, you would be the crew. I would
Mike
say.
definitely.
Yeah.
Mike definitely has. He's the
He's the one man crew, pretty much.
yeah. He's
Did he
definitely
did he teach you a lot about the broadcasting and editing and all that stuff as well?
yeah. Well, actually, I mean, he helped me out he set me up, helped me out in the beginning, hit me with the basics, and like any good sensei, he's gonna let you, figure out some of these things on your own. And I mean, I'm pretty good at picking stuff up. So after I got the basics down, I've been just, trying to learn this thing and try to master it. And I think I'm getting a lot better. I'm sure people that tune into my broadcast can kind of tell that I'm getting things a lot smoother, and the display is getting a lot nicer and things like this. So it's just it's a work in progress. Hopefully one day, I hope my broadcast will be at the level of of the greats, I guess, like maybe like Alex Jones or one of those guys, have the nice studio, but it's a work in progress. And like I said, we all fund these ourselves. It's funded by the listeners and by us, the hosts. So,
Yeah.
it's cool though.
Yeah, it's always good. Like when somebody does contribute, even like a small donation or anything like that, because it does help us out. Getting better microphones, better equipment. I'm trying to save up right now for like a screen for the back, like a big screen kind of thing, so that it kind of you could show clips on there and stuff. But all this stuff costs money, and a lot of times it's not about the money at all. But a lot of times it does come out of our pockets. It's funded by the broadcaster, and when you don't make a lot of money because the economy's sinking and you got a family to take care of, not easy.
Yeah. Hey, yeah. I mean, I definitely have a lot of great listeners. I know you do as well, that tune in faithfully. Like the network in a whole, we have great listeners, and they definitely help us all out. And I mean, I know I really appreciate it. They've helped me help enhance a few things on my end on my show, and now things are running a lot smoother, and it's actually given me more confidence to come with more hard-hitting information and get better guests on and things, because when my show was dropping out all the time, I definitely was hesitant to have people on all the time, but now we're at the point where I want to get some nice big names on, so we'll see what happens. It's the cool thing about having the show. Like people you could just ask someone to come on, and they might say yes.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a whole lot of people out there that would be awesome to be guests on the show. You know what I mean? It's awesome. So who's like out of the many broadcasts you've done? I know you started after me, but you got a lot of shows now because you've been doing it like 5 days a week. What are some of the best guests you've had on that were the most so far?
Well, I mean, it was pretty cool to talk to Dan Badandi. He had some pretty cool information to lay out. Geez, man, your interview was an awesome interview. Man, when I'm on the spot, it's hard to think back. Like you said, I have had quite a few broadcasts. Mikhail Thalen was a good interview. He's actually writing great articles. He's working for InfoWars now. He's having articles up on Drudge Report all the time. So he's cool. He's a friend of the broadcast. A guest that I'm going to have on, which I think is going to be a good one in the next about month and a half, just because of scheduling. But, we have to schedule things in advance. I'm going to have Kelly Carlin on the broadcast. So that's one I'm excited to do because it's George Carlin's daughter, and she has a radio broadcast that is, basically like a truth broadcast. So nice. I think that one will be a great interview. And I mean, there's a few other people that I have in the works coming on. There's other people that have been on the show that I can't think of right now, and I apologize to all of them. I've interviewed a lot of the aldermen here in Kenosha. I try to take kind of a local approach somewhat as well. Professor Gillen, he's a friend of the broadcast. Man, and a bunch of other people. And like I said, I have more guests that I have lined up. And now that my broadcast is nice and smooth and running nice and perfect, the sky's the limit here.
Yeah, it's I've noticed you definitely since you first started. You are getting better at everything. It's going smoother, like you said, and that's how I think all the shows on the Truth broadcast probably have evolved. It's the natural evolution of the independent broadcaster. It's awesome. It's a good evolution, and yeah, like a lot of the guests you mentioned, like a couple of them I knew their names, but some of them I didn't. And that's another good thing about the broadcasting is you get these people that not a lot of people know about, and you get to introduce them to the world, I guess. For others,
that's actually one of the things that I've been trying to really focus on. Like, it's always good to get the people that everyone knows, big names, but then again, like, what about all of these people that are putting out this, good information that people don't know about? Because you can find a lot of these interviews that, that take place. You can see them, from all of the major outlets that week, like, like I'll give it up to the guys at the Rundown. They had Ben Swan on before the day before he was on InfoWars, and then 2 days before Luke Rudowski interviewed him. But you see, now we could see him also on InfoWars, and we could see him with Luke Rudowski, and it just kind of, it's a lot of information at one time. You know what I'm saying? And that's how these people schedule, They always schedule a bunch of people, all of their interviews in a block schedule so they can get them done. So what about all the information that this other person has that no one's focusing on, because this whole week is being dedicated to this individual and things like this? And we see information come and go fast and fast. And we're in the age of, things, you see it and you let it go and you might forget about it. So, you gotta get these people out there, and hopefully they catch on, and then people will understand their information. Because a lot of the time, these what I don't want to use like the pop culture scale, but like these B-list activists or whatever you want to label these people as, these groups. They have a great information that people need to focus on. That gets kind of swept under the rug.
Like I've even had a couple of my friends on because my friends taught me things. You know what I mean? A couple of my friends did teach me a lot of what I know today, and got me onto certain kinds of information, and I want to continue to do that. And it's always good too when you get just regular people on, like from the public, who are aware of what's going on, and they got something to say, because they have every right to say something as well.
Right.
Yeah,
and they definitely want an outlet to speak their mind as well, and people will see it and they'll pass it around to people. So I mean, it's a win-win for everyone.
Yeah. And that's the good thing about the Truth broadcast too. That's not what we're about. We're not about getting big names. We're just about doing what we got to do and getting good, credible information out there, no matter who's got to present it, I guess.
Yeah, regardless of who. I mean, it might be a big name that presents the credible information, or it might just be an average Joe that wrote the article. Whoever it is, that's who we're looking for.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, and I do want to say, like, we do have a good family here, and I like how we all work together, like I was saying before. And like I just had Travis Provo on my show the other night, and he hosts Skeptic's Truth on Monday nights at 7. And it's just trying to help him out. I had him on the show to help get some of the audience recognized with him, so they know his show, so they tune into his broadcast, because it's all just to help the network, to help get the truth out, and get more perspectives out there, because everybody has a different perspective on all of this stuff. So
yeah, you're absolutely right. And it is good to see these new shows coming on the Truth Broadcast Network as well. It's expanding good, and it's awesome. That's what's needed. And like you said, Skeptic's Truth is one of the newer ones. There is a couple other ones too, like Conspiracy Wire, I think is another new one. So
is that just Mike, or is that Mike and Christian?
It's just Mike, I think.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. I seen he did a beta run on it, but I didn't know if that was just going to be just him or how he was doing that. See,
It is new,
it's
so I don't know.
it's that just goes to show, like, it's once you get your feet wet in you know, this this online activism, I guess you could say, you just want to dabble with, you know, full spectrum. And I guess that's just the entrepreneurial aspect of life, I guess. You know, you just want to create more and more and more and more. And dude's now he's on show number 2. He's producing all these cool intros and stuff. It's just you just gotta do it and get it out there.
Yeah. And in life, that's all it's ever taken, was just to do it. Because if you don't and you just think about it, oh, I got to do this. I think a lot of people have that problem. You know what I mean? I don't know what causes that problem. I guess you could say it's nutritional depletion and other aspects. It's probably a whole plethora of causes. But there is a lot of people that, you know, they really know what they got to do, but they don't do it because they're not initiated enough, or I don't know. Even I'm a victim of that, I have to admit. I don't know.
Yeah, I can be pretty hesitant at some times as well. Sometimes I feel like I should say something, and, you know, depending on the situation, maybe I'll just let it go when, you know, when I should say something, or maybe I will say something. But when I don't say something, I do always think to myself, like, man, you should have just went ahead and shouldn't have been so resistant with it.
Yeah.
But then again, it's like, I don't want to feel like, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be mean because, you know, generally I'm a pretty nice guy. So naturally.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? But there is things that, I don't know, there's things we could do. It is hard when you got life and it consumes your time and all that, but it is good to see that there is a lot of people starting to band together and work for common goals. It's awesome. That's the main thing.
Definitely is, because, you know, once we, you know, finally unite, really, we, you know, truly unite, not this artificial unity forced upon us by, you know, the establishment, then we'll, you know, then we'll definitely see some great times. But until then, you know, we just got to keep on fighting.
Yeah, it's so easy to give up in this fight too, because it's so difficult to, when you got these walls, but it's important to maintain it. You can't change it unless you try. That's the bottom line, and you can't let other people do it for you. You gotta be a part of that too. That's another key thing to learn.
Most definitely.
Yeah, one of the comments just in the chat room, very interesting. Next on the Average Liberator, Edward Snowden. That was IC Freedom.
We'll see. I know he's doing. I think he's doing the holographic appearance at South by Southwest. So maybe I can hit up some of my contacts and see if we can get Snowden the hologram into the Average Liberator studio for an interview.
That'd be awesome.
It probably only cost me $100,000 or whatever currency Russians use. I don't know that off top.
I think, what are they, rupees?
Rupees? No, are ruples?
I don't know, something.
Yeah,
I can't be sure.
Something with a grizzly bear on it.
Yeah, for sure.
They love those bears over in Russia. No, that was a light joke. Some people don't understand my light humor. I actually crack a lot of jokes on my broadcast, and I don't think anyone ever gets it. I think it's just because I'm lame like that, but it's all right.
Well, yeah, and that's kind of like a hip hop thing too, right? Like a lot of hip hop, they disguise that kind of stuff.
I keep it witty. Try to keep it witty as much as possible, just because a lot of stuff is, you know, these topics are pretty serious, and if I didn't laugh a lot of it off, I would probably get really depressed. So
yeah, it can be depressing indeed. I definitely hear you there. But yeah, we only got a few minutes left of the broadcast. I do want to thank you.
No problem, man.
Yeah, time flies
nice, man.
when you're having fun, for sure. But yeah, definitely. I did want to thank you, and I gotta say, like, it's been awesome talking with you, and I'm glad to see your shows getting more listeners. You're progressing as a broadcaster and stuff, and anybody listening, definitely check out his show, Monday to Friday, 11 Pacific time, or no, Central Standard Time.
Yeah, Central Time. Yeah.
So yeah, and could you let people know some links, to maybe catch your tunes, your music, anything else where you want to link people to?
Yeah, you could well, if you want to just, follow up with me up to date, you could always check out theaverageliberator.com, or you could follow me on Twitter at theaverageliberator, just no vowels except for the A. And also, you could like the page on Facebook, or even just add me on Facebook, Koerri Washington, Koerri. Only one in the world, so I'm not hard to find at all. Or if you just type, my name in a search engine, everything will pop up. So you could follow me that way. So yeah,
right on.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's good stuff. So yeah, check out his show. Anybody who's interested. And I definitely got to say thanks to the listeners as well for joining in tonight. Without you guys, we'd probably still be making broadcast videos or whatever, but you guys definitely keep us going and give us inspiration to keep digging up some good stuff and getting good guests on it. And I do want to thank my guest tonight, Koerri Washington, for joining the show. It's been awesome having you on, brother.
Thank you for having me on, man. I appreciate it.
Indeed. And I guess until next time, guys, keep unveiling the truth. And we got some good. I got some good guests planned for the next little bit. Actually, Vinny Eastwood, I got an interview coming up with him as well as
dope.
Yeah, that's a good episode. Actually, he was very interview rather. He was very passionate about things. It was pre-recorded because of the time differences. He's a busy guy, but I did capture the interview, and I'm doing an episode of my own hometown of Sudbury. That's next week. That's definitely an interesting broadcast. A lot of people don't even know the anything about the city I live in, but it's got a lot of secrets, and it's connected to the world. In fact, this place pretty much produced all of the ammunition and bullets and stuff like that for the first 2 world wars. A lot of information people don't know about my city that'll be on that. And any guests coming up for you that you want to mention that are coming on your show in the next little bit, or any episodes?
True. As of right now, honestly, I have the only person I have booked. I have this guy named Bobby Electric, and he's an activist MC. And next week sometime, I just have to finalize the date. I think Friday I'm gonna have him on. But besides that, I haven't really been focusing too much on getting any guests on. Just with the birth of my daughter. And I've been focusing a little bit more on the website, but soon I have been in the talks with a lot of people, so I just got to finalize some interviews and just stay up to date. I'll keep all that information on theaverageliberator.com, so just keep on checking that out and stay up to date with me. And also, I wanted to say subscribe to my YouTube channel, because I have some pretty cool Liberator rants on there that I think people might like. So,
Liberator rants, there you go. So, got to thank everybody again. Cheers, guys. Until next time, peace.
Peace, man. Thanks for having me on.
Cheers.
Cheers.
There comes a time in everyone's life where we must face the truth. But what is the truth? Did existence really begin with the Big Bang? Is what we've been taught in our history books some sort of fictional reality? It's hard to find the truth in a world full of lies. However, we do have the strength within us to find the truth, to unveil it, and present it to the world for what it really is. It's your world, your reality, your truth.